Hey guys, and welcome to another installment of the original Lake St. Clair Fishing Report.
One of the best to ever do it.
Guys, I'm going to jump right in and give you a broad image of what's going on out here with the lake conditions and also the surrounding waters that directly affect the temps and water conditions out here on Lake St. Clair. Now, as you saw in my last report, Joel Anderson from Anderson Pro Bait up in Port Huron was talking about water temps hitting a magical number.
Once we hit that 55-degree water temp, it's game on.
Well, Lake Huron has cooled down dramatically. In the Port Huron area, you're looking at about 54 degrees. Now, what that means for us here in Lake St. Clair, it means that we are starting to drop in temperature again in the areas that are affected by current and the main water coming from the north. I'll get into that later on in the report and why that's an important fact. Now, I traveled about 40 miles yesterday out on Lake St. Clair, checking the conditions, checking the water temp, and overall, I saw temps ranging from as low as 47 degrees and as high as 52.5 degrees. That was the Canadian waters and the U.S. waters. The Canadian side is considerably clearer. It's that blue water that we're used to fishing. But along the U.S. side, from L'Anse Creuse Bay down, you have that really nice green water. So for you perch guys, that's a nice thing, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Overall, the weather, it's fall. You know, we're still getting a lot of wind, but things are beginning to improve as things settle down as we go into November, and we'll start to have more days like yesterday. Take a look at this. And guys, a few weeks back, I actually introduced a brand new segment to this report, and I wanted to give it another go this week. I located another voice over for this, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the forecast for this weekend in the style of the NOAA report. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do I keep this in? Do I take it out? Let me know. You guys get to tell me what I do with this segment, if it stays or if it goes.
Lake St. Clair forecast for this weekend. Low pressure of 29.60 inches over the southeastern U.S. today will slowly deepen as it tracks up the east coast over the weekend. A second low pressure system will track through the northern Ohio Valley on Sunday. Meanwhile, high pressure of 30.20 inches will hold over eastern Canada through Saturday. Rest of today, east winds 5 to 10 knots increasing to 10 to 15 knots late in the afternoon. Cloudy. Waves 2 feet or less. Tonight, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots. Cloudy. A chance of light rain in the evening, then light rain after midnight. Waves 2 feet or less. Saturday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots diminishing to 10 to 15 knots late in the afternoon. Light rain. Waves 1 to 3 feet. Saturday night, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots becoming north 5 to 10 knots after midnight. Light rain early in the evening, then a chance of light showers in the late evening and overnight. Waves 2 feet or less. Sunday, west winds 5 to 10 knots becoming northwest 10 to 15 knots in the evening. Cloudy. A chance of light showers in the morning, then light showers likely in the afternoon and evening. A chance of light showers late in the evening. Waves 2 feet or less. Monday, west winds 10 to 15 knots. Partly cloudy. A chance of light showers. Waves 2 feet or less. Tuesday, south winds 10 to 15 knots. Partly cloudy. A chance of showers. Waves 2 feet or less.
So yesterday I got to enjoy a long travel across and around the lake in beautiful conditions. Got some fishing in, and now let's get into those fishing reports. For you guys chasing bluegill and crappie, it's the standard fare for the fall. You want to go in and target the marinas and the channel complexes where there's a lot of boat docks, there's a lot of cover. The weeds in these areas are really starting to die back, and these fish need shelter. And it gets easier to locate those big studs that we look for in the fall and in the springtime. So if you're looking for panfish, get out there, go after them. And if you missed my last video, go ahead and click above here, check that out. I actually go out and use krill from the pet store to catch some bluegill. For you guys chasing yellow perch, Predominantly, most guys are focusing in L'Anse Creuse Bay or down by 9 Mile and Grosse Pointe. That is where the bulk of the action is going on for perch. Now, I did see a group of boats, and I want to say it was like 16 foot of water out from the 400 Club. They were anchored up and they were perch fishing. I didn't hang around long, but to have that many boats in the middle of the day in that kind of area, I'm thinking they found some fish out there. So one thing you're going to want to key in on is the remaining weed beds and where there's a lot of emerald shiner population. Find those areas, you'll find your perch, and you'll have a good day out there fishing. For you guys chasing the Esox, the northern pike and the muskie, you need to focus on areas that concentrate large populations of shad now. The river mouths, the channel mouths that happen to have a lot of shad, like Beacons. Beacons is a great place to locate some pike and muskie this time of year. The spillway, the Peach Island Sturgeon Hole area at the headwaters of the Detroit River, the Bassett Channel mouth. You can't get super close to it because of the no-go zone, but there is some weed beds that does have some current flow over there that may have some pike on it. The north, south, and middle channel will be productive for pike and muskie right now. Anywhere up in the channels will be good as well. The Salt River, out in front of Sulphurage, there's not a ton of current, but there's a lot of good weed beds that a lot of northern pike like to hang out, and you do get muskie out there as well. So check those areas. Predominantly guys are throwing big rubber, your Medusas, your Bulldogs, a little bit of swim bait action. I threw a bucktail a little bit yesterday. I got a new rod and reel set up, the Shimano with the Tranks, and I wanted to throw a 10 to see just how nice it was, and I gotta say that 300 Tranks throws the 10s great. Now, the one I get asked for the most, smallmouth bass. All I gotta say is, guys, if you're not out here trying to get your first and your biggest PB of your life, you're missing out. Yes, the conditions are tough. Yes, they're not ideal, but this is hog season. This is when all the big bass are caught. I mean, look at these pictures from a few guys that I've come across on Facebook that are just absolutely spanking them out here. Not numbers, but size. We're seeing 25 to 30 pound 5-fish bags. Just astronomical seeing these fish right now. Lures of choice, we're starting to get into that cool water period. Spy baits are still effective on those sunny, high pressure days like we had yesterday. Did get a few bites on that. A blade bait is starting to come into its own as we start to dip into those 40s. That's starting to be productive. Tubes, jerk baits. The key out here right now is locate those weed beds that have current flowing over them. Those have been the better areas and locations to locate the better concentrations of fish. And if those areas happen to have rock, awesome. Can't beat it. Or if it's a wreck, all those areas have been very productive. So it is going to be a bit of a grind, but once you locate one, there's going to be others, and these fish are starting to group up in size classes. So if you catch a 5-pounder, odds are the next few are going to be 5-pounders as well. So get out there and go after them. And last but not least, you walleye guys. I haven't really heard of anybody going after the main lake, but the river has been productive. Up by Port Huron, you're starting to see catches in the evening hours, guys fishing from shore and by boat. So that has been really nice to see that is kicked back in exactly how Joel up at Anderson Pro Bait predicted. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to click down below, and right next to it, make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I put out a video. And as always, guys, keep casting, stay humble, and we'll see you out on the water.